Good evening, fellow YouTubers. This is the CKRT Slacker. And yes, it is. It is a slacker. And I will talk to you about that in a minute. Is this knife a buy? I'm going to say no from the beginning. I always like to know if a knife is a buy right away when I watch these YouTube videos. So a few things, I'm just going to go right into it. A few things I liked from the beginning, a few things I didn't like. When I first got this knife, I pushed down and it did that. It doesn't fully deploy. Do it again. There you go. You have to give it a little wrist action when you flip it out in order for it to fully deploy. Again, like I said in my other videos, I smoothed the tip of that down. Just on the edges, it was kind of rough for my finger, so I sanded that down just a little bit right there. So it's a little bit nicer for my finger, but it doesn't. I had such high hope for this knife. It's a really good looking knife. For example, here's another Benchmade grip tooling next to it for size. So you can see there. Here's another pen, a Bic pen. So a few things, like I said, I didn't like about this knife is the edge. So the first thing, I sanded this down, this edge pretty good. It's kind of thick, and the point right behind the edge was real thick. So instead of coming to a real like thin point like that, it was kind of like a less aggressive and less gradual. So anyways, the another thing I didn't like about this knife, there's this field strip technology. So all you do is push that thing over, and at the end you unscrew that, and the knife literally comes apart. So you can take this blade off. You can see Ken Onion, his marks are all over any knife he does. He just plasters it everywhere. The steel is the same steel that, and it's not listed right now, same steel that Victorinox uses for their knives. Not the highest quality. This knife is like $70 everywhere I've seen. Again, another thing that I haven't been happy with about this knife, the profile carrying your pocket, wonderful. This clip here, wonderful. Love that. It actually feels pretty good in your hand. I like this knife. It's pretty lightweight, but the one thing that I don't like, and it hasn't been I haven't liked the action. That's one thing I really don't like. It's just kind of hurts my finger, and it never really deploys unless I whip it out. The other thing, if you can see here, I actually put some wetsuit repair in there because it's not permanent, and if I need to take it off, I can, but it acts as like a glue. Whenever I'd flip this, sometimes my thumb would go like that when I'm flipping it, and that would actually flip over, and then this thing would separate. The piece, it would come apart because that loosens it up. So this would actually separate, and my knife would almost come apart. And I was not happy with that. And so I had to be really conscious when I flip it over not to move my thumb at all because it would move that switch. My brother picked this knife up, first time went like this, and flipped that over, and the knife kind of came apart. And he's like, what the heck is going on here? So real comfortable. The cost, like I said, $70. It's probably, I would go with other knives. I like CKRT knives, but this one, like, it's called the Slacker, and I tend to think this knife is it's tending to slack. It's not putting in work like some of the other knives. Centering. Oh, another thing that I meant to say is the blade play. A lot of blade play in this knife. Like, I don't know if you can see that, but there's like a decent amount of blade play and flex right here. And I think it's just because of the field strip technology. So again, action, not great. Steel, not great for what you're paying for $70. Grip does feel good. Centering, it's not great just because you sacrifice here. You can tighten that screw tighter, and it will center better. As you can see, you can center better. However, the tighter you get it, the harder that is. So it's loose enough right now where it will come out like relatively easy if I like flip it. However, if I tighten that up, it does this, like barely comes out, even with a wrist flick. So sacrifices. Again, I wouldn't say this is a buy. That's the CKRT Slacker.